Do you want to have a spooky paranormal discussion with us? Come join us. Warning, this show is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed are theories, folklore, historical, fantastical, and speculation, and not to be taken as pure fact. Viewer discretion is advised. Melanie, Lightbeam, and the Shamrock Pixie join forces together to bring you paranormal, strange, unusual, scary, spooky, or just overall unbelievable stories and discussions. Viewer discretion is advised. This is an open talk show discussing all things paranormal. We encourage audience participation. So sit back, grab some popcorn, share out to your friends. Together, we can explore the paranormal. Don't forget, subscribe to everyone, hit that like button, share out, or for super chats as a thank you. Have fun and enjoy. Welcome to the show. Enjoy the show.
Hello, everyone! I am so excited about today. Tonight's going to be a spooky, spooky, spooky show. And look, we've got a special guest in the house. Yes! Natalie Hale is in the house, the ghost magnet. We did say we were going to have a special guest.
We sure did.
And I'm so excited. Now, you see the little scrolling? If anybody wants to come in and share their own personal experience, because we're turning the show over to you guys, the link is up above. Just click the link. If you need the link, I could repost it in the chat because I know some iPhone users can't click on the link for some reason if they're pinned. Just tell me. I'll post it in the chat, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Go ahead. Start. Hi, Des. Natalie.
Hi, Melanie. And Dwayne.
Dwayne's in the house, too. Yes.
Yeah. So so remember when we were talking, was it last week or the week before, about how Tommy and Dwayne were best friends / brothers? That is the man.
Dwayne's the man. And Natalie is joining us as well. Natalie, introduce yourself. Tell the folks at home about you.
I'm Natalie. I don't know what to say. I'm
my daughter.
His daughter. He's got way more of an online presence than I do. This is my first time being on YouTube.
Welcome. You know what it is? Take that deep breath and then just it out.
Does me
even she said, feel the love. Well, let's see who's in the chat because we have a bunch of people that's in the chat. Let's say hello, everyone. So we have Heather Hale in the house. Hello, Heather.
Heather is Natalie's mom and Dwayne's wife.
Yeah.
Which Dwayne is Mother Shamrock. Dwayne's in the house. Tommy is in the house. Hello, Tommy.
Tommy 2.0.
Tammy. Tammy's like, woohoo. Tammy's in the house. And he's like, Dwayne is the man.
Whatever.
Dwayne is the man. So as you know, last week we started off with Ghosts and Spirits. We shared Dez's and myself's story from a personal perspective. We wanted to do a part 2, and we wanted to hear, because we're not the only ones that had some spooky, eerie, and I actually have a couple of stories that people submitted. They didn't want to be on camera, but they did want me to share some of their stories. So I have a couple of them, but I mean, since we have a guest, we could obviously start off with Natalie and hear some of her exciting stories as well. And anybody who's in the chat, if they want to share their stories, we would love to hear it.
For sure. For sure.
Yes.
So,
did I just lose my...
You're still here.
You're here.
I see you.
Go ahead. If you want to share your story,
so
go for it.
I've got a few over the years. The first one I can remember happening was when I was in high school, and I was at my friend's apartment complex, and they were the kind of buildings that, like, if you stood on your back patio, it was aligned with the other building's back patio, so you could see through the sliding glass doors. Not very private. And at first, we were just chilling out there. doing rebellious teen things. And we thought her neighbor was like either one of them was moving out or one of them was moving in. And so we were just hanging out, doing whatever. But like being rebellious teenagers, I was a little paranoid. And so I kept looking over there. I was like, what is going on over there? Because it seemed like there was this dude, but he was like doing the exact same thing. So he'd appear and he'd walk over and he'd pick up a box and then he'd turn and then start over. And he'd just stand right back where he was and he'd go over and he'd pick up the same box that was just magically back there. And it was just like stuck on a loop. And I was like, what is going on over there? And she's like, I don't know. It's kind of creepy. I think we should go back inside. I'm like, second that. Okay, we're done with that. Because like we sat there for a few minutes and I'm like, am I going nuts? Is it like a scream? Like, what is this? But we were never.
He was stuck in a repetitive loop of doing the same action.
Yes, it was just like picking up a box, like he was moving in or out or something. Like this person was.
But it makes you wonder, like at that point, did he have like a heart attack or something? And he's stuck in remembering.
Exactly, because like to me, it looked like he was like a young man. He was probably like no later than 30s.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he was just, and it gave me the creeps. And so I went home and I told my mom about it. She's like, "Oh yeah, that was probably paranormal." I'm like, "Oh, goody." Paranormal things scare the bejeebus out of me. Like I don't watch scary movies. I don't do scary things. Like nope, I'm a chicken. And so when it comes to like ghosts and stuff, I do believe in them. Try and avoid everything related.
Have you ever seen him a second time? Did you ever see him a second time? Or that was
never again after that. And the apartment was empty. Like the next day, the blinds were open, and it was a completely empty apartment. There was nobody living there.
Oh, wow. We have somebody who came in the back room who wants to join us.
Cool.
You are live. This is Valerie. She's my mom.
Hi.
Oh.
Say hello. She's going to have a story to share too.
We'll be in the back room.
No, we're not in the back room. We are live. You are live. You are on TV. The world can see you. The world can see you. Anybody who comes in is welcome to join. That's why we're throwing the show off to you guys. So that's why if you want to come in, you can come in. So now you said you had another story, Natalie.
Yeah. So I've got, I think, 2 more. So another one was a couple years later, we moved into a townhouse. And I got what was originally, I think, planned out to be the master bedroom because it was huge, but it didn't have like its own bathroom. That was downstairs. So my parents took the downstairs and made it their own space. And I got upstairs this big bedroom with multiple closets. It was cool. And our very first like night there, like moving in, I was taking pictures to show my friend, look at all this space. What should I do with it? I don't really have a lot of stuff. And I took a picture of one of the corners, and up in the corner, there was like a little orb. And I was like, okay. And so I went and showed my mom, and she's like, oh, you got a little spirit. And we kind of always just assumed that it was the woman who had lived in the townhouse, because we still got her mail. The whole time we lived there, we would receive mail for her because her brother, I believe, or maybe, I think it was her brother, owned the complex, like all of the buildings.
We got a request.
Yes.
Tell them about the trailer too.
Oh, okay. So another one, we lived in a trailer before the townhouse, and there was a creepy old man that would hang out in the back end over by mine and my brother's bedrooms. And it was like, you could feel him most in the hallway, because like at the end of in the hallway, there was like my bedroom, my brother's bedroom, and then the bathroom in that like little, so it was like a little box. And then above it was a swamp cooler. And that's like, was like the creepiest spot. And our neighbor had seen him and had, I guess, told him to leave. And then she moved out and her kids moved in, and dude came back. I never saw him or anything like that. It was just like that eerie, like, I don't feel alone kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But now when you were in the townhouse, didn't Tony say that she felt that person too?
Yes. So the girl who had lived in that room before us, a family friend, we had taken the townhouse over after they moved out. She had also had experiences with the ghost, and that's why they assumed it was the woman who had previously lived there and passed.
Wow. Nothing ever was.
Nothing as creepy as here.
Oh wait, he says he used to watch you shower? That's creepy.
See, my mom is more attuned to these things than me. I'm more of like, the one I've had the most experience is the one with my baby.
I mean, I find it creepy enough that my cat watches me shower. She's obsessed with water. It's like every time I go into the shower or bathroom, she will sit on top of the toilet because I put my towel on there. She sits on top and then stares at me as if she's trying to protect me. And then if I dare take a bath, which I take a bath often, she'll come to the edge of the tub looking over and start howling as to why I'm in the bath. Like, I'm not drowning. I'm okay.
Our creepiest experience has definitely been in this house. So we've not been told about anybody passing or anything in this house. But when we moved in, my best friend came over and stayed in our guest room. And she had mentioned that the guest room is really freaking cold. Tommy and Destiny, I think, have stayed in that same room before, but it's freaking cold. And then no matter what you put them up, it was just freezing cold. It's the coldest room in the house. And that's adorable.
Tommy says our cat goes in between the shower curtain and shower liner and sits there while I shower.
I shut my cat out, and then she sticks her paws under the door really aggressively, like, dude, let me in.
Tommy loved that room. I thought it was cold.
Yeah. I always was like, I would psych myself out because I always felt like, like that, as you've been in there, it's got like the little steepley tower thing.
Yep.
And I always felt like there was someone standing over there by the windows, and it was always creeping me out. Like when I was pregnant, I was just like, I'm nuts. My parents said no one's ever died here. It's not a big deal, whatever. And then my friend came to stay when we moved in to help us move in, and she said that the room was really cold and that she was freezing her butt off, and that one night it felt like somebody was sitting on her chest, and it genuinely terrified her. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was pitch black. I was freezing, and it just felt like someone was laying on me. And I'm like, oh, that's creepy.
Covering the chest. Hello, Chris. Welcome to the show.
And then when my daughter was born, the room we were staying in, we decided at one point, and this is how it's set up now, that it's only a 1-bedroom, like little upstairs in the house apartment. And we wanted her to have her own space with moving her into her crib and stuff, especially with her crying, waking up my husband. So we moved actually what our bedroom is now. It used to be the living room, and she gets the bedroom. And like ever since we moved out of that bedroom, that's the cold room. It gets really cold. It's hard to regulate the temperature. We had to move a space heater in there because it got so cold. Wow. All the time, just random temperature changes. Like it'd be fine, and then we'd put her down for bed, and the room would be freezing cold.
And see, we didn't talk about that last week. That temperature does get affected when there's a spirit or ghost or whichever.
When it really started to freak me out, because at first I was like, whatever, it's fine. We'll just move a space heater in. Not a big deal. But she had a little light up mobile that would play music and turn, and it had a 15-minute timer. But then it started like wigging out, and it would turn itself on, or it just wouldn't turn off, and it just kept going. And so that creeped me out, and I was like, power through. We could do this. It's fine. It's fine. All right. And then we had this little red lamp, because I had read that like red light shouldn't disrupt and help. It's supposed to help regulate sleep versus turning a light on when I would go in there to feed her at night. And so I had the lamp off. We were sitting in the dark, and she started fussing because she loved the lamp when she was really little. She liked looking at the lamp. She found it really entertaining, fascinating, babies. And so she was laying there like freaking out, crying, and the lamp turned itself on. And I seriously almost dropped my baby and ran out of the room.
And was it one of those things like you actually had
It has a remote, but I had the remote. And it's also Bluetooth, so I asked my husband, I'm like, did you connect to the lamp? He's like, no, I didn't touch the lamp. Why would I touch the lamp? I know you're in there. And I'm like, So we have
Heather says Penelope is talking and waving to you. And I just want to say hello, Chris. Welcome to the show. Stygian came in. Hello.
Hello.
And we have, I might as well, I'm going to just pause you for a second. Valerie, why don't you just introduce yourself, say hello, and then we'll get to your story after we get to Natalie's story.
All right. I just got to get out of this window over here.
Well, you're on and we can see you, so you don't even have to worry about getting out of the window.
My name is Valerie, and I got a story to tell you. I'm Melanie's mom.
Hello.
Creepy stories. Yes. Had to bring the
Welcome,
hello,
welcome.
Christina. Welcome to the show.
So when you're ready, I'll tell the story.
Okay, sounds
What
good.
was tail end of mine is that after like that lamp, and it was really creepy, and I was just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. It's freaking me out. So we unplugged the lamp, and I was just like, it's not mean. And my mom told me to just like put good energy out there and show it that like I'll be nice. It's nice, I don't mean harm. It's fine to hang out with my baby as long as it does not freeze her. Like that was like, you can chill with us, you can hang out, you can watch over her if you want, whatever you want to do, but you can't be freezing my baby. She needs to
Wasn't
stay
she
warm.
talking to?
She used to talk to the corners. My baby she babbled. She still does, of course, but she started like fairly early.
They see
And she
things
would
that
look at the corners, and she would just like, we'd be laying there with her lamp on in the dark, like cuddling, getting ready for sleep and all that. And she'd just like look over at the corner and just like grin, like, oh, creepy grin. And I'm like, don't do that. I can't handle
babies
it.
will see things, animals will see things. We can't see it, and they're staring at whatever it is that they're staring at.
Definitely.
Corners, and she'll still smile at corners occasionally, but not nearly as often as when she was a lot younger. But like we haven't had any like temperature issues. Like I don't know if it's not less interested or it's like, oh yeah, you're boring news, you're old, whatever. But as she's aged, it's dialed back. Like we can control the temperature in her bedroom a lot easier now. And like I said, I unplugged the lamp. We retired the mobile. So nothing that's been super noticeable other than that she'll occasionally just like dead stare in corners.
So Tommy and I did stay in that room, and I never felt that anybody was there. Could it be somebody that is in your immediate family or close to your family that
We had
passed
tried to
away?
decide and wondered if it was somebody that had like followed, or even like someone that's like, oh my gosh, a new part of our family, or even if it was somebody like I wondered if it was somebody that followed me from Nashville. But I never felt like in our apartment that there was anything like that. So
Well, and the reason I was asking is because when I was pregnant with my son, my great grandma or my great aunt Cora appeared right after I had him, and because my roommate kept trying to come and take him out of the room, so she all of a sudden made an appearance and showed herself to the roommate, and was very protective of my son. And so I don't think that they intentionally try to make the room cold.
no, I think it's just their presence automatically.
Right. But because you ask them, you ask them to not do that, they have obviously enough respect to listen. And that's probably why you're not sensing it so much anymore. But there are like laws, I guess you could say, when it comes to the spirit world, just as much as the human world, and not all of them follow it. But with experiences that I've had, if you ask them not to do this, I don't care if you're here, just you can't do this, they tend to listen.
Yeah.
So
Well, and none of these things have been endangering.
No, none of these have caused
Right.
harm. None of them have been like major inconveniences or anything like that. So I was never like, okay, you have to leave, because
I would suspect it's a family member, like a grandparent or a great grandparent that was there and was excited. So
I was gonna say, I always got the sense that it was a dude, and then my mom just said he thumped my brother on the back the other night.
So then he's still around. It's not
Yeah,
something
I think
that,
she just moved out of her room and went
Yeah.
back to the guest room, which is now my brother's bedroom, or at least that end of the house.
And that's where Jasmine slept.
So
The air mattress kept going down on her. It kept going flat on her. So I
and
wonder.
Heather says that she would know if it's someone from the family. It might be, unless it's just someone attached to the house itself that just
But
introduces.
like I said, when we were there, I didn't feel anything in either room. So that's why I'm wondering if it's a family member, like a grandparent or something, that, there's a new, like you said, a new member of the family, and they just tend to watch over. So, I mean, that does happen as well. So
You dragged him.
I
You
was gonna
dragged the
say,
lady from
brought him
the.
from Nashville. It
Any
feels
of
like a
them.
dude. But like my little ghost magnet thing. I don't go out of my way for these things. In fact, I would love if they didn't happen to me because they terrify me. But I also wonder if that's part of the humor in it, is that maybe they think it's funny that I'm scared of them. So they're like, hey, let's go bother that girl.
You have the sign. Do
you're
not
that much
touch
in
me.
tune.
Don't bother me.
That's what it is. You're attuned to them. So if you're that much in line with them, they're going to come and speak to you because they're probably trying to communicate with everybody else around you. Nobody is acknowledging them, but you're actually seeing them. So of course they're going to gravitate towards you.
Well, they should bother my mom because she is a better recipient for that. She is much more welcoming than I try to be.
Unless your mom builds up walls and can block it out.
Tries to, keep them spaced. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of moms, I'm going to go to Valerie real quick because I want to hear a story that she has because I know she has a lot of them, but I don't know which one she's going to tell.
Uh-oh.
I gotta check my brownies soon.
Your brownies, don't burn the brownies.
Okay, when I was young, we lived in a haunted house. Now, I have two sisters that can verify this story. Unfortunately, my parents are not here, and they got the bulk of it. No animal would stay there. They would go in. We had plenty of dogs. They would go in the kitchen and bark at the cabinets for no reason at all. The house was always cold. We thought my father was making noise at night, so we would go in bed with him and hold his legs down and hold his hands down, and we still hear knocking underneath the bed. You know, it was weird things like that, and my mother was always afraid in the house. And then one day we all sat down to have lunch, and we put the dog, we tied him up to the knob outside, the screen door. And when we finished lunch, we went out there. He was hanging dead.
Oh.
It broke my heart. It really broke my heart. And we didn't know how he hung himself, but like I said, no dog would stay in the house. They all, as soon as the door opened up, they took off and they would bark and bark at something in the kitchen. But, that's what I remember. And it was a scary time, and we couldn't wait to move out. It was just horrible. It was always cold. I was really a young child. And to go through this, it really left an impression. And, my sister could vouch with it. She went through it too. But
Wow.
Unfortunately,
I believe there's evil in houses.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And
sometimes it's not even the house; it can be the land too. If something tragic happened on the land, and then you build a house on that land, it kind of transfers. But yeah,
I mean, we have the famous, the Amity house.
Amityville Horror.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's what's up the road from you. Huh?
Yeah. That's,
Yeah, Amityville.
If you ever watched the movie Amityville Horror,
I passed it a couple of times. It really looks like that.
Well, they changed the windows, so it no longer looks the way it looked like in the movie.
Yeah, but I went there before they changed the windows.
Hello, Susanna. Welcome to the show.
It's not too far from here.
oh wow.
The horror movie that always gave me like the heebie-jeebies was The Conjuring.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it a few times.
You gotta excuse me. I gotta go check the brownies.
Okay, go get the brownies.
Go get your brownies. We all want some.
I made some really nasty brownies recently. They were awful.
And you know what the unfortunate thing is? Those are going to be regular brownies. They're not infused brownies. They're good. They're regular brownies.
No special brownies for your mom, huh?
Yeah, she doesn't. She won't partake or do anything like that. So it's like they're just regular brownies.
She's in Texas.
I don't know where Amityville
She's
is.
in New York.
Oh, my mom's. My mom is in New York. I'm in Texas. So she's Long Island, New York. I'm Texas. So that's where the Amityville Horror House is on Long Island in Amityville.
Hey, I just had a drug test.
I know. And you did set your camera off, so just bear in mind about that.
Did you study for your urinalysis?
I drive for a school.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
so they do random drug
Very
tests.
important you don't partake, huh?
You can't even drink.
You can't drink, you can't drugs, nothing.
Wow. Well, you
There,
know.
Does alcohol show up on tests after a while? Like even after, like if I was to have a beverage right now and take a test tomorrow, would it show up?
No, probably not. It's like if you like wake up with a hangover and they test you in the morning, you'll lose your job.
Yeah, rightly so.
Or if you drink those energy drinks and don't know there's alcohol in some of them, one of the bus drivers got fired for that.
Wow.
I saw that there's alcoholic monsters now. I saw them at Walmart.
Oh man.
I don't think I could do alcohol and caffeine. I would have a
Right?
heart attack.
That would freak your system out. You got an upper and a downer at the same time.
Maybe that'd be normal.
Wow.
Susanna says we're echoing.
Are we still echoing?
Yeah, Miss Valerie, do you have your YouTube muted?
Do I have it muted? No.
Okay, that's why we're echoing. You need to mute your
Your YouTube.
or exit out of YouTube.
Yeah, we're not even in YouTube, so.
I was just.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not in YouTube.
We don't have any on.
Okay. Hold on, I'm muting you for a second. Echo. Does anybody hear an echo? Echo, echo,
No.
echo.
Echo.
Okay, you are the one that's causing the echo. I'll tell you that right now.
Maybe her speaker's too close to her mic or something.
Possible.
Maybe turn the sound down a
Well,
little bit.
you know what? I'm gonna mute myself because.
Okay.
All right, but
You're gonna go enjoy your brownies.
it's been
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
to you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for the
It's nice
story.
to meet you. Thank you for
I'll
sharing.
be in
it.
the background.
Okay, so I'll. You want me to remove you from the stream?
Yeah. Have a good
Okay.
night.
Good
Bye.
night. Take care.
My mom's sweet.
No problem. Aw.
I love
she
her
was.
little accent. It's so spunky.
Everybody
New
says
York.
that. When her Brooklyn comes out, when she's angry or upset, same thing with me. If I'm angry or upset, the New York comes out.
Oh yeah.
So, she's good to have on your team then, is what you're saying. All right, I got that. Making a note. Making a
She
note.
got that Brooklyn accent.
So if you start hearing the Brooklyn accent, ease back, Des. Ease back.
No, I want her to stand in front of me and take care of it.
Don't put that in front of me. Okay, I know this isn't. I don't understand why a lot of people will find me intimidating sometimes.
It can be
Here I think I'm like the sweet, innocent person, and then there are people that are genuinely scared of me.
I know, me too.
Tommy
Look,
too.
every friend she's ever had has been afraid of me.
Our family has RBF, including my baby. She always looks pissed, but that's just her resting face. She just looks grumpy. But no, she's just chilling, and like all her little baby friends, everyone's smiling and cooing and giggling, and then there's like my stone straight-faced baby just sitting there giving everyone stink eye. I'm like, she's really a sweet girl. The star vases.
Now, if you don't mind, I have a question for both of you, and I probably should have questioned my mom about this as well. Do you feel that your attraction or magnet to ghost magnified when you were pregnant or after you had a child? I'm just curious.
I'd say
And that's also anybody in the audience. If you happen to, I've never had kids, so I can't speak from personal experience, but I'm curious if there is any correlation between that.
I would say pregnant, no, just because I didn't really notice too much other than being a very pissed off pregnant woman. I just hated being pregnant, so that was really my main focus. I didn't notice a lot around me. But once Penelope was born, it's like all of your senses, just everything is like everything going on around you. You take into account what could happen, how it could happen, everything you notice, just because I think it's part of that like nature to want to protect your child. And so I think I'm just a little more aware to stuff now, not like I'm just not turning a blind eye to it, I guess, since it's no longer just about keeping me safe, but also her.
Yeah, more focused.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to say probably. But yeah.
I don't think it really changed. I think it's been the same my whole life. So maybe a little bit when I was pregnant, but definitely those few first months after the baby's born, from when, like maybe a month or two before you have your baby, and then like about 3 months after you have your baby, everything seems maybe a little bit more intense than it normally would be, like more magnetic, like haha, guess what, we can come mess with her. A lot of people who can see or speak to spirits, they have like this big sign over their head, and I always joke, it says eat at Joe's, you know, that big flashing neon light that says eat at Joe's, like a little restaurant. That's kind of like how it seems, for people that can see and speak to spirits. But definitely, you know, for within like a 5-month time, and 2 months before you have your baby and about 3 months after you have your baby, everything, like your body is going through all those changes, and it sometimes it stays with you, like it gets like stuck on, you can have everything intensify. Other times it'll go down or disappear. But that's just, mine's always like,
We've got
So.
2 comments. I'm going to skip one comment and then I'm going to go right back to that, Susanna, because that is a great question. But just Heather says, I was told to go to the hospital when I was pregnant with Natalie. Now I'm curious
So,
why.
I feel like you would probably know this a little bit better than me. I was,
She was in denial that she was actually in labor, and Natalie was 6 weeks premature. So we weren't even ready. We were just going in. We were planning on having a baby that night. So we went in. She was watching fireworks or something, and she just felt something told her, you need to go to the hospital. So she wasn't exactly sure what it was or why it was that way. But we decided to go because she was having, some cramping or whatever, some minor labor issues. And then when we got there, they said, well, you're having a baby tonight, So
Wow.
we're like, oh.
my mom's little guardian angel.
Right. So we're not exactly sure who said it, but if I remember right, Heather had said that she
Okay, so that's what she meant. I was told. Okay, so it was something supernatural that told her to go to the
Yes,
hospital.
it told her that she needed to go.
And
because I was
you're here.
Breach.
That was a guardian angel.
Something,
Now,
yeah.
Susanna has an interesting question. Do you all believe in possession? I absolutely believe in possession. I do.
I'm skeptical on it. Like, I definitely believe, like, how people would say that there is a ghost piggybacking on you that is like stuck to you, but I've never had personal experience or known anybody to have had full-on possession. So I'm not.
I mean, I've seen spirits attached to people exactly how you say, but the reason I believe in possession is because I find it so hard to believe how some people can be so absolutely evil without some sort of force driving them. Because I'm like, they can never be born that way. I feel like something is possessing, or I mean, that's my personal belief. Everybody has a different opinion.
Sure.
But I do believe that evil spirits will try to inhabit somebody in order to relive whatever it was that they did before. But
Makes sense.
I feel the same
Yeah,
way.
I don't know. I don't know if I could go that way, because I mean, obviously I've never seen it, and I'm a very logical person. I mean, everything I do is kind of logic. I have like no feelings, so at least that's what my family tells me.
Got very little feelings.
Very little feelings. But so I'm kind of, you got to show me. I have to see it. I have a hard time with faith and things that I think, but I have no proof. But I don't know. I mean, to me, possession, I think if it was possible, I think it would happen a lot more than it does. I mean, if there are spirits out there or ghosts, whichever you decide, I can't remember. It would happen, evil spirits, evil people would happen more often.
What if it was to be something that like the right circumstances? So things had to align, like someone a weak
Hmm.
constitution or spiritual something lining up with other events, so it's not something that's like super common because something like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's very possible.
I have no idea.
I mean, I often wonder about like those cases where tragic things happen and people completely lose all memory of what happened or what they did. And I don't know, it's hard to I personally believe, but I also believe that because of movies like The Exorcist and the way the Catholic Church is portrayed in these movies, I think people will deny possession because it's too fantastical in the movie realm. Hello, Jennifer. Welcome to the show. And I think that's why we're like desensitized to believe that possession is real, because it's nothing more than a horror movie in most cases. But
Well, okay, here's the other question: is if you can be possessed by an evil spirit, can you be possessed by a good spirit?
I think so. I
Yeah.
really do.
What would you think would change? Like, what would happen if that was to happen? Like, what would be the difference or the identifier that was being happened? What has happened? Do you think?
I mean, I personally believe that both good and bad spirits do inhabit, because, like I said, they're just trying to relive or experience whatever it is that they can. And I think the good spirits are the ones that bring you the luck. I mean, those like I would say those are those choices that you make that are almost maybe coincidental or something that's unbelievable, like, oh, guess what, this happened, or some sort of divine intervention, like those cases where you hear about a miracle. I think it might have been that a good spirit did inhabit your body at that time when it happened. But like I said, that's only my belief. Everybody has different beliefs.
Oh, sure. No, I'm just interested because there's just so much to it, and there has been quite a bit of thought put into this, not by us, but by other people and studies and stuff. And it always comes out inconclusive. It's never yes for sure or no for sure. It's well, maybe. So.
Right.
But again,
Yes,
like
Suzanne, that was a good question, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now it's making me wonder and think.
What if intuition is really just a spirit whispering in your ear kind of thing? Would that be considered like
there you go.
Possession or almost a, I don't know what word I'm looking for here.
She's already eating the brownies. You're going to make me hungry.
I want to try.
Hey, don't be saying that, Brad.
Although I want the brownies with the good stuff in it.
Well, even without the good stuff, brownies are good.
Oh, yeah, brownies are
Brownie
good.
mix upstairs, but we're on a
Oh, yeah. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
And Jennifer, this is an open forum tonight, so if there's anybody in the chat that wants to come in, share some stories, like I said, I do have a couple of stories. They're quick stories, but if you want to share your own personal stories, we would love to hear it. Valerie is possessed by a brownie. Brownie is good. So one of my friends recently told a story. They didn't want to be online, but it was an interesting story because they were saying that they had this kitchen, and they had like the coffee pot with the carafe with the glass, and weird stuff always happened in the kitchen every time they went into the kitchen. And the one time it was with his friend, they were going to be making some coffee, and out of nowhere the entire coffee pot slams up against the wall and cracks. Nobody touched the coffee pot. Nobody went near it. It wasn't like an angry thing. It's just like the coffee pot was there, and then all of a sudden it just like exploded, and all the glass went all over the place. Wow. And the friend is like, "What the hell, dude?" And it's like it was just a very uneasy place. Uh-oh. What happened? He's laughing.
Oh, we've got a little baby coming.
Oh, the baby Penelope's coming. There's Penelope. I thought I said something about the crap, and I'm like, oh, what did I do?
No, they were coming in the door.
Yeah, they were walking through.
But yeah, the carafe just hitting the wall, that would freak me out. I mean, see, that would definitely make me more of a believer for sure.
I don't know if I'd ever go in my kitchen again after that.
She's so excited. Oh, we got a baby now.
I'm gonna clap for them.
But see, babies see things. That's always pay attention to the kids and the animals, because they will see things and hear things and feel things that we can't feel.
My mom says that she can see auras because she'll just like intently like zero in on a person in a room and she'll just stare and stare and stare and stare, like unblinking. You can wave a hand in front of her face, nothing. And it's always like specific people. It's not just everybody. She just finds one person and it's like, you're my guy.
I am going to read your mind.
And so, like, one lady, we went to the doctor the other day, and that's exactly what she said. She's like, I feel like she's staring into my soul.
Oh, she does not like the doctor. You said doctor, and she screamed at that one. It's like, no. No doctors for her.
No, she's not a fan. He looks at her and she cries.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, when I was a kid, I hated my doctor so much that I used to wrap my arms and legs around a tree, and my mom would have to try to pull me off the tree to go to the doctor. I'm like, I don't want to go there. No.
I crawled behind an exam table that they had to move and get me out. And then one time when they were trying to swab my throat for strep, I kept thrashing around about so bad they had to restrain me. I'm not a doctor
The dentist is even worse.
I have to be sedated for the dentist.
Yeah.
But look at these teeth. Come on. They've had a lot of money put into them. So clearly I had to like somewhat be cooperative.
We had to drug her every time to go to the dentist.
Wow.
I'm an anxious person.
I did some dental work done, and every time I go to pick up the phone, like I have an alarm set on my phone to remind me to call the dentist that day, and my anxiety gets so bad that I can't do it. I can't. So I can relate. I
made my
totally get it.
appointment for myself.
I got violent. I would kick the doctor as well. I was violent.
See, and my son, if you tell him he has a doctor's appointment, he will freak out for the week before. I mean, he won't sleep. He'll just like
panic
he
attacks.
just panics about it.
Yeah.
See, you're giving Penelope a panic attack every time you say that word. Like, no.
Okay, we're all done at the doctor for now.
No.
Well.
Oh, man. So any other stories, or like I said, is there anybody out there who has a story that they would like to share? This is your time to share your scary. And if you don't want to share it, you could just type it in the chat as well.
So my wife is here, and
Heather's here.
She's got a lot
She probably
of
has
stories
enough
compared to me.
So we're gonna go and let her sit.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, or you're gonna go?
Oh no, either or.
I don't care, whichever.
No, you told whatever.
I'll stay here. You have.
Okay, I have a baby. Okay.
Yeah. I love my baby, but
it's completely open. You can stay as long as you want or as short as you want.
No,
Take Elaine, put the baby to bed.
She was watching the camera and she was yelling and waving and her mama. Yeah. She was she usually only does that for Miss Rachel. Yeah, she does. But so you know how we've talked about my death premonitions.
Yeah.
And Destiny and I have spent hours talking to each other about these things. And if you want to see anyone who is awesome with the pendulum, she's your woman. 'Cause I was holding it and she was talking to it and it was responding to her. It was crazy. Because I'm like, okay, do something. Yeah. So she's awesome with that. But no, one thing that we also had talked about was my death premonitions. Okay. So so it's, I don't know if it's getting stronger or just more people are dying. I don't know, does that count as a story to share?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Their story. This is an open forum.
Okay.
So
before we moved, before I came out a year and a half ago, I
kept hearing, "Go see Jason." And that was my cousin. "Go see Jason." And I knew to listen. I knew it was a message that I should be listening to. And I came up with all the excuses in the world. One of them being that he was a biker. And I'm like, all I have to do is go to a biker bar. That would have been like closer than going to his house. But anyway, I didn't do it. And so he wasn't real happy with me. We have had a difference of opinion. And anyway, so we were the youngest two cousins in the family on my dad's side, and closer in age to the next generation than most of our generation, if that makes sense. So then, less than a year later, a Sunday, I was feeling so sad all day. And my premonitions come in different ways, and often if it's going to affect me, it's not the same as. And then the next day, I found out that he had been hit while on his motorcycle.
Oh, that's so sad.
And like I said, I was just like, oh, I should have listened. I should have gone and done what I could to make things right with him. I don't know. I guess I'll have to wait till I see him again. But that is a feeling of great regret on my part.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it was because I always say, "Oh, I listened," and then I was like,
The one time.
I'm like, I'm busy. I have to pack. I'm horrified to go into a biker bar. Things like that. But so anyway, since we've been here in the past year and a half, I woke up. It was last spring, and I woke up. I'm like, oh, someone died. And 2 hours later, a friend of mine from since junior high, and when I say friend, like I knew her whole family, including grandparents and cousins, and
I will be right back. I have to run upstairs really quick.
Okay, no problem.
And she texted me and said my dad died. And so when it happens like that, I don't feel that it's so much them directly. It's more of how it affects the person I know. I think that's what that energy is about when it happens that way. But and then the next one was just last month with Renee. I was like, check on Renee. I got to check on Renee. And I had a dream about her. I got to check on Renee. And so I text her. I'm like, how are you? And she texts back, my mom died.
Aww.
And so, and I had met her mother. But like I said, I think it's more of the energy.
Yeah, I was going to ask, these premonitions, do you think it's someone or something telling you, or is it more that you're attuned to the energy of the person that it's focused on, that you feel the shift, and that's what you're sensing?
All that I have been told is that it was a gift given to me. So, but so yeah, that was. I also went on a surprise
surprise spirit quest.
A surprise spirit quest.
What is a surprise spirit quest? I have to ask that, and then I'll get to your question, and Jennifer.
I want to wait till Destiny is back.
Oh, okay, all right. So Jennifer, and I'm so sorry about this. She says she doesn't have any ghost stories, but I would like to see my daughter who passed someday. And you know something? Maybe there may be a time or a place that she will come to you. I mean, they always say follow the signs, because if they're trying to speak, there will be some sort of signs. Even if you don't necessarily see them, you may hear a favorite song that reminds you of them. Maybe you may smell a scent that reminds
her one time.
Yeah, you'll smell
overwhelming scent of her child.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, it's not just a seeing things; it could be something more. Um, Valerie says, "Tell the one about my aunt seeing." I have no idea. My grandmother's name was Tata. I don't know that story, so I can't tell it. You haven't even dreamed about her, but you know something, Jennifer. Like I said, maybe in time it will happen, and you will dream about her. You'll see her. So.
Also, for me, it's my grandfather who comes to tell me. Because I have a whole story. Like I said, when Destiny gets back, I'll share all of it. But
She also predicts life, not just death.
oh yeah, because
She texted our family group chat one day saying somebody's pregnant. And I said, "Don't look at me." And then a couple weeks later, I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter. And she told me that she was a girl and that she'd been visiting her for months in her dreams. And I was like, I'm pretty sure it's a boy. I have a very strong feeling it's a boy. And then sure enough, she's a girl.
well, and this was when Natalie was up. Oh,
There's your sign right there. You can hear her say "mommy" in your head a lot. That's beautiful. That's your sign.
and but yeah, do you remember, Destiny, when I had said that there was a spirit close by in the family? This was when I was still in Utah, and then it was 6 months later that Natalie was pregnant, and so I'd known, and then she was waiting. Penelope has been a part of us for a very, very long time. So it for me, when I had Ian, he was the most familiar face that I'd ever seen in my life. That's my oldest son, and so I know that he and I have been through many lives together. And then with Natalie and Penelope, I think that I've always felt that Natalie and I, that our souls were created at the same time. So we've been through a whole lot together. But yeah, I was going to tell you about my grandfather. So the man I refer to as Grandpa was my grandma's husband that she married later in life. And I was 3 when they got married. I remember a little bit of that day, but my sister, who was 14 at the time, she said that the first time that we met him, she looked at him and she's like, "This is our grandpa." And so they asked, they meaning both my sisters asked him if we could call him Grandpa, and he said yes. And so that's just who he was. Well, so then not long after he died, I think it was a part of my mourning for him. I was having this feeling of, is he still my grandpa? And he came to me in a dream and said that yes.
And he's been with you ever since. You said that he
checks in on me. And then after my grandma died, and it was even before her funeral, so we're talking just a couple of days, I, along with my mom and my oldest sister, we were right with my grandma when she passed. And you cannot feel sad when someone is in their 90s and they tell you that they're ready to go and they do it. You miss it, but you can't.
That's a full life, yeah.
Yeah. And, I had this real sense of, I was so proud of her for completing so much in her life. And then she was able to move on. So, but, and then it was just like 2 days after that, then my grandpa came to talk to me and he said that Grandma wants you to know that she's doing fine. And so, I told everyone, I wasn't worried about it, but I was glad for the reassurance, just to touch base. So then, as I had told you, I was doing ketamine treatment, and my first one it was a spirit quest. That's all the only way I can explain it. And I told I asked the doctor if anybody else had that happen. And he said, well, this is Alabama. I don't know how many people know about that, but he had worked with Native American tribes, and in his career as a doctor. And but I'm like, I had one, and it was the most intense thing I've ever been through in my life. But
It took her like a whole week to recover.
it did. And it's probably going to be part of me for the rest of my life. And I called my part Native American friend. I'm like, was this a spirit quest? And she said, it's not for you to question. That if you're given information, whether you're, awake, asleep, meditating, doing a quest, the information is meant for you, however you receive it. And so it was during that I found out that my grandpa, that my siblings and I, were put in his path, in his life, so that he could love us.
Uh-huh.
And he did, and we love him, and it just felt so right to hear that. But so I finally spoke to my father. That was, I don't have words to explain it. It was anguishing, but at the same time cathartic. So.
We have a question. Where is my brownies?
Yummy.
She ate all the brownies.
Yummy.
But it was really, really wild. And I found out, I had always kind of felt it because I didn't stay with my oldest son's father. But I found out that he needed his father, and I bring him here to this life. And I just, the messages they were just hitting me like boom, 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 boom. So I kind of felt like I haven't been listening well enough, or maybe I just haven't been trusting in myself enough.
I think that's the interesting thing, is that the universe always gives you signs, but sometimes you either ignore them, you don't pay attention, or you don't understand it until after the fact.
Yeah. Yep. So those are the kind of things that happen to me. It's never scary. It's definitely emotional. There's been a lot of tears. My good friend that died, and I knew something was wrong, and I didn't hear from him. I'm like, what is going on? And then it was that he had died.
She gets people. I feel when animals die.
Now there's another story about passing. I don't know. I really don't know which one this story is.
I want to tell you this story about the passing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, if you believe in life after death, we're not the same body, the same, features and everything. My aunt was sick in Virginia. She was in the hospital. She didn't have long to live. My mother was sick in our house on hospice. And they would talk to one another on the phone, So my mother passed away, and we wanted to tell my aunt, but, we didn't know how to tell her. So we called her the next day. We told her that, Tata's gone. And she goes, she visited me last night.
Mm-hmm.
I said, what are you talking about? She says, a lady came in my hospital room, said she's lost. She doesn't know where to go. She's lost. And my aunt felt it was her sister, which they were sisters. And she goes, don't worry, you'll find your way. And when we told her that my mother passed away, she goes, she came and visited me.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that story. That's why I'm like, Ann. I'm like, which Ann? I'm like, all the aunts are dead.
And by the way, my Aunt Sylvia, which was my mother's sister, she died 5 days later. Yeah. So it was just very touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember that story.
Yeah, she said she visited her the night she died. And another thing about it, my mother was a party animal. We would always go out partying. So it was St. Patty's Day, and we went to a party. And as soon as the party was over, and I had my coat on, and that's when my mother passed away on St. Patty's Day. She waited till the party was over. You know,
One last hurrah.
and Melanie was with her.
Yeah, I was with her that night.
Yeah.
Wow.
My grandma, so I had spent all day with her writing notes as to what she wanted, because she said, I'm ready to go. You guys are going to have to worry about yourselves. And I said, okay, that's fine. And so then I had a catalog and a Sharpie and was writing notes down, because she just started rattling off everything that she was wanting for her funeral. And so I wasn't going to be like, wait, let me go find, pen and paper. I just grabbed what was close by. But, and then she went for, it was 4 weeks to the day. And each day she was slipping more and more. And we're like, Grandma, is Grandpa here? Go with him. Is your dad here? Go with him. We're like, come on, Grandma, you don't need to drag this out.
Didn't she used to talk to someone?
Yeah, my grandma talked to dead people. And so did my great grandma on my dad's side. And so, yeah, I have it from both sides. So my grandpa, he was living in that house when his first wife died. And so when he and my grandma got married and she moved in, then she saw his wife a few times. But
Pink back from the house?
yeah.
I thought that was grandma's.
And no, it's grandpa's. But so yeah.
The whole bathroom was pink.
Oh,
It was all of it. It was pink. It was awful.
So
I love it.
She went bye-bye.
But another thing about my grandma's house is there was the purple room. And then after I met Dwayne and we went over there, and then one time he's like, why is that called the purple room? There is nothing purple in it. I'm like, it used to be purple.
Which room was that?
The one across from the master bedroom.
I don't think I ever went in that room.
Probably didn't.
I had been in great grandma's room like twice.
Now, wait a minute. When you say it's the purple room, was it that you changed the color from purple, or before whoever owned the house?
My grandma was one to paint the walls. She'd get a bug in her and she'd paint walls, buy new furniture. Yeah. One of her many, many hobbies.
Did it become grandma's office?
But that would be cool. A purple room.
Yeah. It had antique furniture in it that, yeah, we won't talk about when people die and other people end up with things.
My great grandma was like the classic old lady. Like there was antiques. She had an organ. She had all of the yarn. So much yarn. And just like everything that's stereotypical old lady.
Yeah.
And even her house even kind of smelled like old lady with
old
roses.
People. Yeah.
See, for me, it's always the dolls. If they have like creepy dolls in the room.
This woman collects them. She has this one porcelain baby doll that's like through this doorway over behind the computer here.
You've
It
seen
had like
that
little
room.
creepy room.
Yes,
All
I
the dolls
agree. Creepy.
and the baby doll just like stares at you and oh, I hate the thing.
So I don't have all my dolls out, but I probably have a few hundred.
Yeah, she's got a huge collection.
I'm
Dolls,
sorry, I didn't mean to insult you, but they're creepy.
like when she passes, what am I gonna do with them all?
sell them on eBay.
I couldn't do that though. I'd have to like distribute them amongst family members. Be like, oh, my mom have a doll.
But,
That's hilarious.
well, what I understood that they were kind of creeped out by Headless Mary. I mean,
She has a
Thrift store. Open up a thrift store and sell all the dolls.
pieces.
yeah, I couldn't get rid of her.
Headless Mary.
Yeah, that's Headless Mary.
I don't know when it comes to dolls, because sometimes when people have creepy ass dolls that are sitting on the shelf, I almost feel like the dolls are watching.
Yes. The whole, it's like a little hall that you walk through to get to this room and their bedroom. It's wonky. The house is laid out funky.
Yeah.
No one planned this house. They just built it and just
Yeah,
laid
the
out
doorway is like really, really weird.
the side step to get through because it's like a half door, but like it's not like a custom door. It's like they made
A closet, like
Yeah.
a hall closet door.
Yes, like a towel closet.
Yeah.
Almost.
No, the man who built this house, he lived in it.
But anyway, so this one is like a little hall, and on both sides of above, she's got shelves, and then she's got all sorts of old stuff, and then she's got her dolls and a hoarding of Hello Kitties.
Which Destiny?
Hello Kitty too.
She's got
Oh, look how cute. Melanie just wanted to say sorry. She got booted off.
Well, I have a bracelet for you. It's just a little fun, you know.
Yeah.
But
I have this for you.
awesome.
Look how cute that is.
It does have a few stones that are kind of missing, but I do have this, and I believe a pair of Hello Kitty sleep pants.
Oh,
Cute.
cool. Yeah, so we'll have to exchange next time we see each other.
Well, we'll see each other soon.
Oh, here's the doll. Okay.
Oh,
so
he brought it.
this doll
He's
was
bringing the doll.
this doll was given to my
Oh yeah, that's haunted. It's haunted. I'm sorry. That thing is haunted.
Oh, it's terrible! Out of all the
Look at its look at its eyes. Its eyes are following you. I'm sorry.
So that was given to my friend, and it creeped her out, so she gave her to me.
That thing will give me nightmares.
And
Thank you.
dolls,
She says she's cute.
dolls have never creeped me out. Like I said, I have many.
I have, like,
so.
2 baby dolls from my childhood because they're sentimental. But that's it. I'm done. I don't need more dolls.
I'm sorry. That thing has weird eyes. Like
Yes. Okay, so that one.
Give me 1 second. I gotta help Tommy find something real quick. Speaking of dolls.
Okay.
uh-oh.
So does anyone
We're
remember?
bringing out the creepy dolls.
It was like late 80s, early 90s. There was this craze where you would go to
Do you hear meowing?
ceramic.
What do you
Len says your dolls are not scary, so she likes the dolls.
Around here for a long time.
Oh,
The
yeah.
broken.
You have a
But,
weird doll?
But there was this craze where you'd take ceramic classes, and that doll someone had made in one of those classes.
Oh, so it's so
Aw.
hard work that I'm sitting here insulting. Now I feel bad.
Yes.
Valerie says, wait till I don't think that doll had the
Whoa,
capabilities. of like that.
okay,
I walk
so-
past it every day.
So how I mentioned about people having other people's stuff when I'm talking about my stepfather. So my mom died 10 years and a couple of weeks from when my grandma died. In fact, once my grandma died, my mom just went downhill. She
off the marbles.
Yeah, and she ended up being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. But the loss of my grandma really just set it off.
But whoever recovers from this, their parents.
Yeah, and so she kept all of my grandma's stuff, and now our stepfather, who suffers from TBI,
I don't know what that is.
traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
Like he's, I don't know how, I haven't talked to him for a while, but sometimes, like one time he called me and he said that the neighbors snuck in and rearranged the furniture at his house.
Okay.
So we want him to go into a assisted, he doesn't need a care center, but like an adult only kind of place.
Assistant living facility.
And because a frustration. Now, luckily, his neighbor is an angel here on earth and helps him. And so she'll text me and my sister and be like, "Oh, he's on a rampage again. He's getting rid of your mother's stuff," because he wouldn't let us have it. But then he just like wants to take stuff to donate. So imagine how we're feeling about this. So she was helping him. She took pictures of things, and we were telling her, what to go ahead and get, what we'd like to have saved. So he had dolls, and one of them is antique. I think my sister may have gotten that one. I'm not for sure, but there were some other dolls that I wanted. So she said, okay, I'll take them over to your nieces because they live in the same town. And so then a couple hours later, my niece texts and said, I just read a text from the neighborhood messaging that someone had left creepy dolls in a box on their doorstep, and it was her neighbor. She got the wrong house. But Danielle's like, I'll come get those.
Hello, Chu. Welcome to the show. Chu does drive-by hellos. All right, I have a crazy question. Just settle my mind for a minute. Do you have something in the window?
Yes. What do you see, that little flickery light thing over?
It's a light?
Well, what it is they're plastic bags. And so the light is hitting them, and then we have a fan on, so you'll see the calendar move here as well.
Okay. Sometimes they get
Plastic
distracted.
bags do not like you.
We were talking, and it looked like there was something.
Yeah, it's the light reflecting off a bag.
Well, and it's not just plastic
It's a plant.
Oh, that's a plant? Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Strawberries.
No,
Because at first I thought it was a cat, but over your other shoulder, I'm seeing like this weird reflection, and I'm like, what is going on over your shoulder? So it's a bag.
Oh, on that shoulder, that is the tag of the pull string for the blind.
Oh, that's moving around. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I saw a tail in the window too. Okay, thank you. I'm not the only crazy one.
The tail was the reflection of our dog down here on the floor in the window.
Okay.
His name's Luigi.
Because at first I thought there was an animal in the window, but then I'm looking and I'm like, there's nothing in the window.
No, that's our
What
dog.
am I seeing? I'm sorry, that scared me a little bit. I will tell you this. It creeps me out sometimes when you're talking to something and then behind you start seeing something weird. Yeah. And it's like I try to say, like, what is that I'm looking at? That was like with
I get that weird, like if Tommy and I are talking and like the room is dark behind me and he'll just like look up and give like this look, and then all of a sudden like the hair on the back of my neck starts to, I'm like, what? I'm like, and then all of a sudden I get this like weird, creepy feeling, and then I'm like looking over my shoulder like, all right, oh gosh, you know.
Well, yeah, you have that creepy door open like in the back, like the hallway. You need like
right
a little
there?
light. Yeah, you need like a light right there.
Okay, so this is the door. This is actually a black sheet.
Oh, that's a sheet.
Yep.
Okay, I thought it was like a hallway.
Nope, that's our power box, and then right next to it is a sheet.
Oh, all right. Okay, so now I feel better.
And then the door is right there. You see the little necklace thingy right there?
Yes.
That's a magnetic necklace that Jaslyn has. 3 of them on that door in like different shapes.
The way it looks like, it literally looks like that black area is like a darkened hallway. And that's what I'm like, okay, so there's nothing there.
So then Tommy did a good job. So what
wait, Dwayne's saying we're nuts. Why are we nuts? I get scared. I don't want to say things in the background.
So first time I stepped away, I got cold, so I had to make some tea.
I love that mug.
The second time I stepped away, Tommy messaged me. He's like, show them my. So I was like, okay.
Oh, what are we seeing? Show and tell time. What the hell is that thing? Okay.
What happened?
It's old.
It's like so old that literally the material feels like it's coming off in your hands.
What do you Is that witch's inside of it?
Sorry, needs to come on. You need to come on and talk about this. This is his elephant.
His elephant? From when he was a baby?
He's got to come on and talk about it.
Definitely there's a spirit attached to that thing.
This thing, like, I don't even like touching it, like literally, because it feels, I mean, I know it's not coming off of my fingers, but it feels like it.
I'm sorry. I have to say that's a little creepy too.
It's got one eye.
Yeah, poor little
Like-
elephant. It's got
Sorry.
it's
Yeah,
falling
thank
apart. Its hand
that
looks
eye.
like it's been mauled.
Brass button.
No, it's just like
Wait. Tell us. We want to hear the story of this thing. Its eye is so cloudy. It looks like it's like it has cataracts.
Yeah.
And it even has been sewn. Like I have Zippy, and Zippy's been sewn a few times. But Zippy
Oh wait, he
is
picked
not
it up at an estate. I thought this was your own personal toy. Picked it up at the estate. I'm gonna agree that thing is haunted. I mean, okay, you know what? I would totally pick that up too. But
I was not in the room. Like I wasn't there for that. So I don't know the whole story, but I just know that that thing feels like it's falling apart in your fingers, and it's got a really creepy vibe when you touch it.
Yes.
And
Your
so,
own- is it
It's creepy
Annabelle?
when you look at it.
It's your elephant version of Annabelle.
We had in the town that Dwayne grew up in, there was
That's how I grew up.
yeah, and our kids grew up in the area. There was a store that it was the junk store, and they had a doll in the office that I saw that the owner showed to me because they would put it out on the floor and they kept finding it being moved around. And so she had a friend come in and she said that who it had belonged to didn't want them to sell it. And so they just keep it in their office. And, she said, okay, we won't sell it. We'll just keep it. And then it gets moved around the office too, but she's fine with that. And
All right,
yeah,
I have to ask. Do you plan on selling that thing or you're keeping that thing?
you gotta keep it. It's a Halloween decoration, man.
I almost feel like you need to advertise that as a haunted elephant. I mean, you even have the prominence that you got it at an estate sale, and the lady said it was haunted. So
yeah, I wasn't there, so I don't know the whole story about it. I don't even know. I just one day Tommy was like, "Look," and I'm like, "What the hell is it?"
that thing is, yeah. We got. He says it just needs some love. Tommy and then Dwayne said it needs a lot of love. Now he's like definitely haunted. That thing
and
is
that's one of those
creepy.
things. Like, I don't know. It just when you touch it, it just feels like weird.
Interesting.
And for me to be lost for words on how it makes me feel haunted wise, that's not normal.
The material looks like, I mean, okay, it literally looks like a potato sack or burlap.
Have you seen like velour and then all the fuzz is rubbed off?
Is it like the Velveteen Rabbit?
I don't know what that is.
What? What kind of a childhood did you have?
A very
Shepherd?
sad story.
That's
You
not-
don't
that's
find
not
out
like
about
burlap?
it. Love it.
It looks like burlap on his neck. That's why it was like where his eye is. Like if you get
Yeah.
close.
I don't know, but he looks like he's got a big old piece of metal something in his. Hold on. Oh, I don't know
Ow.
what this thing.
She's like, she doesn't even want to touch the thing. That's what I mean. Like, look at the nose and everything. It
The
looks-
metal
Oh,
thing in his nose.
Either something to weight the nose down, or maybe it could have been a crushed bell.
That's what it looks like to me.
Something to weigh the nose down.
okay, Tommy says it's well-worn velvet. And Dwayne's like, it's probably made from old human skin.
I told you it's like the Velveteen Rabbit.
I would have... see, I didn't even... Yeah, I guess it's very well-worn, but oh my... That thing's haunted! That thing's scary!
It has.
Oh, the
It's
metal
been
is shaped the trunk.
stitched. Like you can tell it's been stitched repeatedly.
I wonder what's inside it.
It might have jewels in there.
I agree with
They,
Jennifer. It's
they
just shaped
used
the
to
trunk.
do that.
Okay. hold
Yeah.
on.
Are you kidding me? Oh, it could be crushed nuts in there too. They used to.
It
stuff
looks
it
like
in
there's
there.
blood on the face.
Or walnut shells.
Yeah.
Yeah, wood shavings and walnut shells. Maybe you should burn it, and then if you see an elephant going through your neighborhood, you'll know that it's like.
You said you're on your.
There was a. It's gonna have to be
You-
stone.
You cut it a little bit and then you can resew
But
it.
then you'd have to
It's
resew
already
it.
got
You
a,
don't want to
slit
configure it
in
and
it,
remove
y'all.
that.
It's already got a slit in it.
Oh, so there you go. Stick your
But
finger in
nothing's
and see
quite
what's
coming
in
out. It
there.
looks like worn cotton.
It's
Like,
probably actual cotton then.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna put it on. Tommy, I'm telling you, stuff
Dude,
like
you
that.
can make a lot of
particularly
money on
how
that.
creepy that looks. That's gonna go for a lot of money. I'll tell
The
you that
tail
right
is coming off.
The tail
I'm
looks.
scared to sew it, but the tail's coming off. But this thing,
Um,
I'm telling you.
you guys are on here till 9, you said?
Or
now.
what? Or how?
Exactly.
However
Exactly what I
long-
just said. If you look up the haunted dolls on eBay, they go for crazy money. You need
I
to
mean-
sell that thing. That thing is creepy. Sell.
I
Hold
need
on,
to
hold
put
on.
my baby down to bed, but when she's down, if you guys are still on, I'll come back.
Okay, that's
All right,
fine.
sounds good.
You're welcome to come back on anytime you want to.
Thank you.
Go take care of Penelope.
Well,
I
you
mean,
can do
we
it.
usually stay on for about 2 hours, so
Okay.
we may or may not be staying.
You
But
okay if we stick around?
I'll check.
of course, you could stick around.
Okay.
You're actually gonna open them up?
No. I'm
Aw.
putting a damn crystal on them.
You're putting a crystal on it. Grab a crystal. He's creepy. Oh my god!
I don't mess with this thing,
Here.
and I actually forgot about it until
There
Tommy
we go.
messaged
That's
me.
the best compliment. I won't be able to sleep tonight. Is Susanna still in the house? Because she had nightmares after our last week's show. Des, you do realize at some point I am going to have to trim it down just for that one segment of you holding.
With the baby wipes.
It's like, what the hell? It's so creepy.
You know, and the thing is it totally, you know, it's weird. You know, it's creepy, and I know people love haunted stuff, so I wish Tommy luck.
I think, if you don't mind me doing it, I think I need to trim that segment. In fact, I've been wanting to do this the longest time, where I wanted to trim like short segments to highlight things from various shows, and that's creepy.
Sure. I'll give you a good one.
Oh my god, with the crystal and everything. Here, just pull him back a little bit. Yeah, he has a good crystal. That is just haunted beyond.
I need him away from my tea, though. I don't want nothing falling in there.
Yeah, you don't want like little shards.
I don't want
of-
to drink any spookies.
Maybe that's why you're having nightmares. Like, get rid of that thing.
Maybe.
But Valerie's right. My mom's right. It looks like there's blood with the red on the ears. Jennifer says he's just well loved, and Dwayne is like red rum, red rum.
Oh, yes, Wayne.
Red rum.
I had a comment to make about possession.
Mhm.
That I
Come with this now, Tommy.
who was a ghost whisperer, and he said that he had sat in 2 separate occasions for what is that called when they go in to get rid of the evil?
Like
An
a house
exorcism.
cleansing or
Exorcism.
Yeah, yeah. That he had been a part of 2 separate exorcisms in his life, and he was like, for anyone who doesn't think that they're real, they're real. And you know, he's written a book about stuff, and he's a great storyteller. But and so, because I had always wondered, and he said that, I'm like, you know, that works for me.
Now my nose itches.
Way to go. Do you have hand sanitizer?
or use the baby wipes that you had.
Yeah.
They're dry.
Oh, okay. You need something a little moist. You need something moist and wet.
I had hand sanitizer. I don't know what I did with it.
That's it. I got to send you a care package of hand sanitizer.
I got
Oh, that's perfect. Spray your hands.
they're nice and clean now.
Oh my god, that poor
No,
little...
and it's weird. And Tommy was, when he said it, I was like, okay, I gotta help you find it. He's like, it was on the brown shelf before I moved it, and I'll be damned if it wasn't straight across from me, across the room.
It's been there the entire time. And now you need to find another spot for that.
So it does get, I personally think, even with, you know, being a brick basement and stuff like that, I think it gets a little bit more colder than it should down here, because we do have where we have the heat that does come down here, but it shouldn't get this cold.
I've been in the basement.
Yep.
You can't be tall and be in that basement.
That's why it's good for me.
However,
However,
does it have a name? What's his name?
you're gonna have to you probably already know what the name is, Dwayne. You and Tommy being, you know, so psychic.
You can name him like something like
connected.
Peanut or something, because he's an elephant. You'd be like, "Hi, this is Peanut the elephant. It's haunted."
It is. That thing is just really weird, and now I'm like really creeped out that it's here. Honey, come get this thing, please, and put it back.
It's like
He
weird.
did at one
Don't
point
touch it,
have
don't
it
touch it.
hidden up in the rafters down here, because it was. It would show up down here in different places.
I say either here, open for suggestions. If anybody has a suggestion, I say either like Peanut or Goober or something. Goober the elephant.
All right, let's see a name. Bob.
Bob. Just name him
Bob did it.
Something that's something right out of Twin Peaks, Bob. Something G.
Something.
Wait, something with the G, like George? Georgie? Greg?
Georgie is from It. Old. Lucifer, right?
Lucifer. Well, Goober. Something Goober's with the G.
The 30s or
I need a
40s.
name
He
for
named
the
him
30s.
the 30s or 40s.
Gatsby. Like the Great Gatsby.
Houdini.
Edward.
That one's, yeah.
Edward was Edward was the little rat that the guy. Oh my god, I forget what movie that was. He had like the rat that he was keeping.
All I can think of is like the Ratatouille cartoon.
No, not Ratatouille. No, this was actually a really creepy live action movie. With a rat. And then of course there's Edward Scissorhands.
I had a hairless rat that I'd pack around on my shoulder.
Was it Edward? Willard. It wasn't Edward, it was Willard.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say Willard, but I wasn't sure.
I don't know why I thought Edward. The name was Willard. So if anybody wants to see a creepy rat movie, Willard.
Thomas, your name is from 1932. It was popular in 1932. And 33. And 34. 1934. Hey, you're moving up in the list. 1935, you're number 8.
Ben the Rat.
Oh, there was not a lot of people that used the name Thomas in 1936.
What was the number? Do you have a list of what the number one name was?
Oh, for each year?
Just pick a year, yeah.
1930, the number one name was Robert. Then Robert. It was James, John, William, Richard, Charles, Donald, George, Joseph, and Edward.
Dexter or Norman. I love it. Dexter.
Norman. Name him Norman.
Norman. Yeah. Remind me to tell you a story about Norman. I completely forgot to tell you the story about Norman. I can't tell it here.
Okay. It looks like a Norman. Tommy will know what that means.
Norman Bates.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of that.
Well, that's the whole thing about Norman Bates, Psycho. Hi, baby. Oh, here we got another kitty. This is kitty number 2. This is my Hope.
I was going to say, is that Hope?
That
This
is
is Hope.
kitty.
Hope came to visit. They all come to visit. They want to be part of the show.
My dog is right here.
That's why I thought I saw a tail earlier, so it was the reflection of the dog on the floor.
This is like one of the luckiest dogs alive, I guess.
Do we still have our buddy that comes over and visits?
No, he needs to be absent a pair of somethings that are still there, and so he is a bit aggressive.
Oh.
So he hasn't been towards us, but he was towards the dog. And then did you hear that we had to get rid of Roxy? You met her. That we had to get rid of her?
Yep, I remember her.
Yeah. I didn't know if Dwayne had told you about it.
He probably told Tommy, and I probably didn't.
So she bit the baby.
Oh, no, that's not good.
And you don't mess, she weighs probably.
Good night, Norman and everyone. Have a good night, Ma. Take care.
Have a good night.
The dog is probably 55 pounds. And
wow. You got to be very careful because there's horror stories of that with dogs and
so
babies.
We had adopted her from the shelter, and she went back the next day, and we felt really bad about it, but I wasn't going to be the person whose dog ate their grandbaby. So, but Louis had been dropped last summer along with his brother, dumped on our property, and I spent all summer trying to rehome him. Excuse me. Things are very different in the South. Very different. I knew how I would have gone about things in Utah to rehome puppies, but here the Lawrence County Shelter offered to put them down for us. It's like, wow, you guys are awesome. But they don't even have any spay and neuter clinics here, where that's what they just focus on, is spay, neuter, teeth clean, and vaccinations. Like I've asked, is there any spay and neuter clinics? Nobody knows what I'm talking about. So, and I couldn't get any rescues to answer me back. We couldn't take her to, he and his brother, we couldn't take them to the shelter that we had gotten Roxy because that was a different county. So then his brother got hit and smashed because he liked chasing alongside cars. So there he went. And I think, was it before or after that? I think that was after, but Louis got parvo, and we thought he was going to die, and we got him through that. And so,
that's so sad.
He's the last man standing because we had 3 dogs plus we have my daughter's dog. But so we had 4 dogs. And the kitten has disappeared because she kept getting outside. So the numbers are going back down.
Now, see, okay, if you don't mind me saying, just correlating from something that was said before, you mentioned that the house does have spirits or ghost or whatever you want to call it. Do you find that your animals don't want to stay there?
They don't go upstairs.
They don't go upstairs. Because that's the same thing that my mom was talking about, that the animals didn't want to be in the house.
So, yeah, the kitten would go upstairs. I don't think she had any effect. Luigi, hey, he's got tissue paper, probably a Kleenex. But he doesn't go upstairs because there's no reason for him to be up there. So we told him he couldn't go up there. But he is a monstrous pain in the behind. But I guess since we put all this money into him, I should take him to school and learn some manners. because all of my dogs have just kind of caught on, and he's too strong-willed, so I'm gonna need some help with training him.
And like you said, be careful with the Penelope because that's scary if the dogs.
Oh, her head's in there too. Here's.
What happened to the head?
Okay, now
What happened to the head?
this is Headless Mary. Okay, this.
Did you chop off the head?
I don't know if she was a first generation, but she's from Fisher Price. She's about the same age I am, which is, early 50s.
She's haunted too.
She had long hair, but I would pack her around by her hair, so my sister decided to give her a haircut one day. So she had friends, and there's actually different generations of they're Fisher Price lap dolls, if you ever see them online. And I had another one that had brown hair and was named Natalie, and I lost her, but Dwayne got me another one year.
It's Headless Mary.
Yeah. So then I have my Natalie doll, and I'd like to get their companion named Audrey. Just I thought about getting another Mary, so I have another complete set. But then this Mary would feel bad, just because she lost her head doesn't mean she has to be replaced, right?
No, but it makes it even more creepier. There's no head there.
Hey, I packed this doll around for years. Come on, this is love.
She can hold her own head.
From so much love, and she shares my children.
She can hold her own head. It's like, what the hell?
But I have dolls since childhood, from basically my whole life. I have dolls. So, okay, see, this is what she had more clothes. She had an apron and more hair.
And then just pull off the head and then twist it all around. You could do one of those things where she's turning around and be like, come play with me.
And poor Mary. She's been made fun of for past 20 years.
Mary, come play with me. Oh my God.
Gotta breathe.
Breathe. Deep breath in.
I just messaged Tommy because I don't know if he heard or not. And I was like, can you please come get this thing?
There you go. Want to play a game? Let's play.
Oh, okay. So if I have him, I'm sure I do because I can't think of why I get rid of him. It would just be if he gotten lost. But I have a My Buddy doll. And I was a teenager.
That's like the original Chucky.
Okay, so
I have the real life version of that. Joey, when he was little, literally he looked like Chucky. The red hair, everything. I have a picture.
So my mom got me dolls for Christmas through my whole childhood, even when I was a teenager. And so I wanted My Buddy, so I got one Christmas. And oh, not creepy at all.
She's gonna take clips of him and make some shorts out of him.
So when
he's famous, so he goes for a lot of money.
Tommy said, "Make him famous, so he was worth a lot of money." I think Norman is a good name for him.
Kind of like Paul.
Norman.
Norman.
Yeah. Do you mind if I snip and do a little
Oh, okay.
Let her do a short and have people vote out of them names.
Okay, out of the names that Tommy sent, or he'll send. Actually, we'll just send you the names. You should do a short and have people vote on a name in that short.
That's what I said. You mind if I do a name the haunted elephant?
Yes.
Tell them the names that I listed.
Okay, so he said Dexter or Norm, and I don't
I
see.
said Peanut
oh,
or Goober.
Claude, Poe, or Hugo?
Hugo.
Norman
yeah, it's on the
I
other.
still like Norman.
Furlong.
Okay, I see where it is. I thought it was in chat because I was like, it didn't show
Oh.
up in chat. He sent it to me privately.
Ah,
Yeah, but she can do whatever. Make shorts. Cool.
He's excited for the shorts.
okay.
So here are the names. Or some of the names.
I'll play around with something and come up with like a creepy doll thing, and it'll give me
Oh.
something to do. It might not be right away because I'll be away this weekend, but or maybe I might do it this weekend. Not too sure.
I'm sure you'll find some time. It's all good. You said Dexter and Norman? Or Dexter, I mean. Dexter, Norman. Oops. Not with the big O. And what was the other one?
So what if we made him a TikTok?
I like the name Norman. Totally
What if we
Norman.
Made him a TikTok.
Norman!
Took him out and about with us. Posed him in creepy spots. Made shorts. Made him famous for like a year, and then put him at auction.
Did you guys hear that?
Yes. Like you got to bring him if you're going to, I don't know, like go to like a cemetery and have him.
Yeah, we'll just go to creepy little weird places and.
Yes.
Stormin Norman. That's what Dwayne
Bring him
said.
to like just creepy places.
Yep. We have lots of like creepy woods.
We have a lot of
caves.
creepy woods. We actually have in our area a lot of paranormal stuff. Wisconsin is one of like the highest paranormal areas because it's where a lot of the Native American tribes, there's like 5 or 6 that kind of joined in Wisconsin. So our land is very, very much here in Wisconsin is very supposedly high in paranormal activity. Spiritually enriched. That was Tommy's word. I couldn't think of the right word. Stormin Norman is what Dwayne said, so I'm writing that down. All right. Thank you for moving him.
Yeah, get him out of there. But that would be cool. Like, did you say that
No, I didn't.
they put balloons on the raccoons on the side of the road? Take a picture of that with a balloon, and it could be like a raccoon friend.
Well, we had those with the deer. The deer, I had to take that.
Deer.
I'm like starting to itch. No, around here they do that with deer. And
put Norman next to one of the deers with the balloons.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to try to do that, but Tommy can touch it. I already got enough.
You could do a whole montage on the life of Norman.
Right?
I would totally do that. You're giving me ideas.
Yeah, so we're gonna do, well, I don't know if it'll be Stormin Norman, but I'm gonna write that down. Face it
like he's eating it. Like he's eating the deer.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a name, and you can do a TikTok to see, or a short, to see what all those different names. And then once we get a vote for a name, then TikTok, YouTube.
And like I said, I'm gonna have a little fun with the video as well. I'll do something.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Oh, I do. Man, I should never have touched that thing. I think it's psychological. But it's like, dang it. Okay, no.
So I wanted to tell you about my buddy doll. Finish my.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We
yep.
got distracted. We totally got distracted.
So,
Sorry.
Sorry.
So when a friend would come over, this was my oldest son, his father's best friend, childhood best friend. And when he would come over after he would leave, I would have to go searching for where the doll was because he would hide it somewhere different every time he was over.
That's creepy.
Because he was afraid of it.
Now, did you have kid sister too? Because it was my buddy and kid sister.
Nope, I just had my buddy. Like I said, I think I still have him unless he got lost in a move. I think he's my grandpa built a cedar chest for us. You know, we each got one, and that's where a lot of my childhood, most of my childhood that I have left, you know, is in there. So,
you know, you're gonna find my buddy. He's gonna be sitting out in the open or something.
Okay, so if that happens, it will freak me out because that friend died 20 years ago. So I would, yeah.
It's just gonna come out of nowhere. Like, there's my buddy, and I'm like, oh no.
No, I'll be like, damn it, Mark.
Of course, you got to follow up and tell us if that's the case.
Oh, yes, of course. And, or maybe I'll just go sit him up in the guest room.
At least you'd have somebody to chat with.
So my sister works at, it had been a polygamous house back in the day, and now it's a bed and breakfast. And she's seen, so they try and get all antique furniture and such in there. And she's seen, as she's walking past a room, a rocking chair rocking, and no one's in there. Well, one of the rooms has a doll, and she said that she'll find a porcelain doll. Of course, I think it's very cute. But she'll find it hidden behind pillows sometimes when she goes in to clean it. And because the guests get creeped out by it.
They don't want to see that.
Yeah, Jeslin's not a big fan of dolls either. She gets very creeped out with them. She literally, we cannot watch the movie Annabelle. Never seen it. None of them, because just the music freaks her out.
Is it ready now? Okay.
Don't watch Megan.
We did watch Megan. Well,
and how can people, like, I can see some dolls being freaked out. Did you want to join us again, or are you? But in general, how are people freaked out by dolls? I don't get it.
I mean,
I can answer it, but I want to hear what Beth has to say.
Oh, sorry. I think it's just the idea that the doll is so human-like. A lot of them. So in your mind, it just 2 and 2. Like, and your mind does play tricks on you a lot of times.
Well, all of my dolls have their own identities, you know, and I don't know.
For me, there are so many horror films surrounding dolls, and aside from that, it is like a little tiny human, and I almost feel like dolls are like a portal for spirits to go into.
Well, you know what? You know, a life-size doll is really creepy.
Yeah, those I agree. Little dolls are creepy. Big dolls, regular.
Yeah, Destiny and I saw life-size doll once, and I was creeped out too. We were both equally creeped out. So, and
I say but I know somebody who has one of those life-size dolls, and literally treats her like his wife. So he brings her everywhere. They'll go out to dinner together. They'll go on, and he pays anything that she does. It's a doll. Anything that he'll pay for. So, like, if they go to the movies, he insists on paying for a second ticket. He will go for dinner and insist on paying, like, yeah.
The dude needs a life.
Destiny, I want this to go on record that I didn't go there.
I know.
You're talking about life-size dolls. To me, they're creepy.
No, Destiny knows what I'm talking about.
That wasn't what you were talking about? I thought that was. I'm sorry.
Something perverse.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm keeping it clean. I didn't mean to go
No,
there.
no, it's not that.
But he keeps her in a wheelchair and travels around with her.
Yeah, that is very sad.
Yeah.
That really, like, I don't know how to put that in my mind in any way that it's not sad.
It is very sad. He definitely needs a life, and yeah, after show material. Remind us after the show is over. You tell us that story.
I was going to try and throw a defense out there for him, you know, not knowing him, but wanting to be open and accepting, and I don't have one.
Yeah, you can't really come up with the right words.
How about if I just say, because, you know, I'm a Southerner now, so how about if I just say God bless?
There you go. God bless. God bless you.
And you know what the worst part is those things are expensive.
Oh, there's thousands.
They're not cheap.
And you order them custom.
This is a custom made doll that costs like $20,000, and then there's maintenance and upkeep.
Okay, I want a car that is fully functioning.
Yeah.
Right.
He has a doll that costs as much as a car. Yeah.
Yep. Bless his little heart.
Yeah, bless his little heart. And
that's all I have to say. I'm sorry. Okay, go back to the answer. I almost feel like dolls are like a portal because I feel like they have this aura to them and they hold things. Like, I mean, they just hold energy. And it's just weird. You said that each doll has its own personality. I agree with that. And I almost feel like each doll is like a different soul or something trapped.
And
that's how I feel. And that's why they creep me out.
For me, like, people always thought that I didn't like libraries. And it wasn't until I got older that I understood what it was. Now, I love books. I love bookstores. But I have a hard time with libraries and used bookstores. And I have to leave as soon as I start feeling busy. And so, yeah, I am not anti.
So wait, is it the energy of the books or is it the dust?
Yes. In fact, going to Savers. Now, say someone hands me a used book, I'm fine. It's collectively. And sometimes when Dwayne was doing his picking, and I go into Savers with him, there were times when I couldn't go on the book aisles because there was just too much energy. I think especially, you know, people put a part of themselves in books that they love, you know, and I don't get creepy feeling. It just makes me dizzy. And I think when I was a child, it probably made me feel anxious. But I
love used bookstores.
Yeah, and so I'll be like, I'm going to stand right out here. You go ahead, go in. No, the one in Bountiful I went into.
That one was cute.
Yeah, I was okay with that one.
It was a fire hazard, though.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a situational thing. It's not always, but.
Yeah, because there's sometimes that, you know, you can go into a place and, you know, it be, you know, you've heard all this paranormal stuff that's gone on in it and there's nothing. You know, but then the next time you go in there, it very well could have something happen.
Yeah, that's like when Natalie told me about the ghost. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a ghost up there. I didn't say anything.
Something I didn't tell. I remembered when I was up in Penelope's room, putting her to sleep, was another one that freaked me out. Was I was checking on her baby monitor because it's one of those cameras one night, and there was like, this is her baby monitor. And
hello, Patrick. Welcome to the
show. Hello. Her head there was like swirling, but like wisps. Yes. And we didn't have anything on. Like, she has a air humidifier, but that was before we purchased it. There were no lights on in the room. There was nothing that I could figure out that could be causing. But it was just right by her face.
Aww.
Yeah. And so I was just like, hopefully it goes away.
I think it was a good thing. I think it was just you were able to see love
Yeah.
with whoever is in that room or whoever is around you guys. I just see love. I feel nothing but love.
The guy who built this house, his brother lives just that way. So I figured I could ask him or his son. Because I was talking to his son one day. I'm like, the house is kind of weird. And he said, my uncle's kind of weird. I'm like, okay.
You made me want tea.
Yes.
So-
We have tea.
Teachers.
See, it's funny where you guys are. It's so cold. Where I am, it's hot that I have the air conditioner on.
It's not cold. We have the AC on too. I just drink a lot of tea anyway. And so then she said she had tea. I was like, oh, I want tea. And
So-
she said she wanted tea.
So there's something that Dwayne and I fight over.
The thermostat. It's not ghost food.
No, not Ghost Food Lady. So, a friend of I was with a friend and, other friends. And one, she had been newly divorced at the time. And so she was acting like, teenager all over again. And so as we're together, she's messaging with this guy that she met on a dating app. And she's like, he likes country music. Do you think I can handle that? I'm like, who cares what music he listens to? What temperature does he keep his house at? That's what matters. The important things in life.
I don't ever have to worry about that. We keep our heat at 68, 70 if it's cold, maybe 72 if it's really, really cold outside.
So I could be.
That's too cold for me.
Oh, see, you and I could be roommates then. I like it warm.
I like it really warm. I usually keep it at 75.
And
Oh, yeah, that's too warm.
if I'm updoing, 75 is too warm, but if I'm just chilling, that would be just fine. I'm already working on that old lady status. I'm going to be wearing a sweater on the 4th of July.
She probably will.
Probably will.
When Penelope first came home for the first seriously 3 months of her life, she's always cold. And I would come get my baby and she'd be bright red and sweating. I'm like, oh yeah, cold.
She is always cold all the time.
But then she told her doctor.
And the doctor
Or
said
the-
that's
the-
a grandma thing. It's
Yeah, the
that they're always
pediatrician.
hungry and they're always cold,
Yes.
according to grandmas.
Yes, I'm always sure that she's cold and starving to death. But you saw her.
She's very well fed.
I will be right back. This is creepy. There's a huge hornet in the house. So
Oh,
I
okay, now that is something that scares me.
all right, I'll be right back.
I saw a red one earlier.
All right.
Walking to the car, and I almost dropped my stuff.
Yes.
Thankfully, Penelope was ready to go.
So I got to tell you, Destiny, being a grandma is the best thing ever.
I cannot wait till Jasmine's 40 and has her first kid.
40.
And so, yeah, anybody listening, I can agree that, you love your children, but your grandchildren, there's just this certain adoration that you can have for them without the responsibility of raising them. And being a grandparent, I am just here to love her, like I said about my grandpa, that and it's the best job in the world.
I feel like
Oh, I'm sure.
that it's weird that I have a baby.
It always is going to feel strange.
You never
Yeah,
feel old
yeah.
enough to have a baby.
Oh, no, not at all.
I'm 25, and I still feel like I'm not old enough.
Yeah, I was 26 and 27 when I had my kids. And they're 18 and 16 now, and it's still there are days where I was like, wow, I really did have kids, didn't I? Let's hope they don't need counseling in the future.
Yeah. Actually, my oldest son has been doing therapy, and
Yeah.
it's really helping. And so I'm very proud of him for just stopping to address any issues.
That's
You
cool.
may have. I've apologized for any of my contributions. He was the first.
The test subject.
Yes, yep. And I've apologized to the other two for any wrongdoings, but they look at Jeremy and are like, he's so spoiled.
Anytime
Yes.
I have no idea how that came in the house.
you get it out.
Yeah, I killed it.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
good.
Thing was huge. I was wondering why my cat was going crazy in the corner, and when I saw it like climb out of the, I'm like, ah!
It's those M hornets. Can't say the first word, but
You know something? I wouldn't be surprised, but this thing was like big.
I
So
don't
I
do
killed it. I had to hit it with the broom
Yeah,
like
We get
10 times.
ladybugs here. They're like infestation, like
That's
tons
another
of
thing.
ladybugs,
Yeah.
and they'll touch you. They're not scared of you.
So I don't know if you remember Destiny, because it's sure easy to forget because it's a memory you just let go. But yeah, coming back for you, if you come back down this way, there are so many bugs,
They're awful.
so many insects. Because when you live where it freezes, they die off. Here, they don't die. They're around all year.
this year, our winter, we literally barely had a winter this year. Or this winter has just barely been here. And we already have the Asian beetles / ladybugs. And boy, do they bite.
They bite? I didn't know that. They come in, so like where our furnace is, I'm guessing there's a hole somewhere, and so they come in and they're all over the bathroom. Like every time I clean the bathroom, I'll just run around killing them.
They don't, as long as, like, if they land on you and you go to do this, they'll bite you.
So what are
I have goosebumps.
the noisy cicadas?
I don't like
Yeah, a friend said that it's supposed to be a big cicada year.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. My husband.
I
Yeah,
like
what is it, every 15 years or something?
Well,
they come in?
different ones come like every year, but then every so often it's like, a big Mardi Gras, and they all show up.
The first time I saw a cicada, I was in Missouri, and I was on the phone with my mom walking down the sidewalk, and I saw a dead one, and I screamed.
Yeah. But that was me the first time I saw
It's like a little alien, didn't it?
the first time I saw a lightning bug, I screamed. I was in South Carolina at the time, going for a nature walk at dusk, and all of a sudden there was a light in front of me, and I screamed.
They're cool though.
Yeah, they are cool.
I had never seen a cockroach until moving to the south. Nope.
Yeah, those are. Yeah.
My apartment complex was not the nicest place. You could see through our door. There was like where the
See the
wood
light
had
of
like
day.
swollen, but like was coming away from it, so it didn't seal, and so like you could see out into what we called the M hall, because there was like the building, and then there was this little cracked sidewalk path that went down the side that nobody knew was there, and everybody thought it was like a maintenance closet, and you'd open that door and then you'd walk through a cement hallway to a singular door at the very end, and that was our apartment.
It was like a janitor apartment.
Yeah, it looked like a janitor lived there, and so we couldn't order DoorDash or anything because no one could ever find us. We'd have to walk and find them. Like, you would see the balcony, but you couldn't figure out how to get to the door. I'm like, hey, no one can find us, no one can rob us, right? And so, yeah, it was creepy, and there was always bugs in there, and sometimes birds would get stuck in there, and it was not a classy place.
Well, let's see. You lived in 2 different crappy apartments.
Yeah, I've lived in some really fun places.
I think everybody needs to pay their dues and live in, plus the trailer park. But that was a trailer park in Bountiful, and
She's like,
yeah,
I'm
Not.
3 times over.
Does this mean that if I buy a house, it won't be a crap hole?
Exactly. And then,
because you experienced all the bad stuff already, so now you know what to look for when you get a place, so you can avoid that bad stuff.
My apartment in Nashville had bugs. It didn't seal. It flooded regularly. It flooded so bad that it rotted the cupboards and cabinets, and so the drawers fell out of the cabinets. There was mold in the closets when we left because we had moved in and we had put boxes in the coat closet by the front door, and didn't think anything of it. We didn't use that closet. It just held coats and stuff that we didn't have spots for living in the boxes till we moved out. Thankfully, they were plastic boxes. And then when we pulled them out, the whole back of the closet was just spotted in mold.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. So, I mean, I paid a really cheap price, so I got a crap apartment. You pay for what you get.
Hopefully.
We paid $11.77 a month.
Look at Destiny.
$1,177 for mold, cockroaches, and flooding.
Okay, our place is looking like a mansion.
Well, we were also in like the east side of Nashville, and there was like plenty of shootings and lots of crime, and it just was.
I had anxiety the entire time she lived there.
There was only ever one time that someone walked into the apartment because the door was unlocked, saw me, and I was like, not your place. And he looked at me and was like, goodbye, and walked back out.
So she ran and locked it.
So I ran, locked it, and called my husband who lived there.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had to live there alone for an entire month in a whole new state, new city, in a scary apartment, all by myself with the dog.
And she'd never lived in a city.
And so there was I had never lived in a city. I had never lived alone. I've always, either been with my husband or my parents. And so like I had wood in all of the windows and the sliding door on top of them being locked. And then I had one of those like props that my mother-in-law gave me that holds the front door closed on top of locking it, and I still felt nervous.
So then here's my question. You said that you think that maybe the ghost followed you from Nashville. Was it from that apartment or a different place in Nashville?
I never felt like there was anybody in that apartment, but I feel like it could have come from the complex because plenty of people died in that complex. In fact, someone had been killed seriously a week before we moved in on the other side of our building.
I felt him.
Or is it attached to something that you own?
Yeah, because like we were saying before, and I don't remember exactly who said it, you can get antiques, like a lot of antiques they say are haunted because the person that owned it before you owned it, they or the older people who have passed, stuff like that, their energy kind of, depending on how long they've had it or if they really love the item, their energy can go and attach to that item.
My husband owns an old like Avon necklace that belonged to his great aunt who was murdered. Where he wore it for years and years, and then it started to kind of get beat up, and so we retired it, and it lived in the tomb that we bought.
I feel that our resident ghost was already here. I don't know why I didn't ask the previous owners.
Because you didn't think about it.
I do believe that ghosts or spirits can attach to things. I really do.
At our last house, Jeremy said that somebody would check in on him, but I don't think he brought him here. This one, I think, was already. Yeah, the Woods Cross house didn't have anyone.
The Woods Cross house didn't.
No, but everywhere else we've lived has had.
But everywhere else wasn't ours.
Yeah, because our Woods Cross,
nothing that felt like it was ours. Our Woods Cross house was built for us,
and it had been a swamp before that, so no one had ever lived on that land before. And so, no, that house was fine.
But everywhere else has been someone else's or something's been there before.
Yeah.
But
you got to remember, too, even though it was a swamp, it could still have history.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It still could have
that. Dwayne's uncle did a history, because it was his uncle that built it, and he did a history search on it, and there wasn't anything to report. Doesn't mean that nothing happened.
Right.
But,
right.
Like it hadn't been Native American land or anything like that. But my sister lived at our great grandparents' house for about a decade, and
Absolutely.
if it's run down, but if the door would suddenly close, she knew it was great grandma closing the door.
Have you ever, and we can ask the chat too. Most people who have had a paranormal experience, usually it's in the kitchen
Cupboard.
or in the bathroom.
Yeah. My sister had a ghost that would open her.
I never had one in the bathroom.
Yeah,
The
well,
bathroom is the one that always gives me the creeps.
yeah, because you feel like they're watching you, and
It's
a lot of
Sure.
things happen in bathrooms with unaliving. It's a lot
That's
of
true.
okay, and then bedrooms.
Bedrooms. Yeah, I had more in a bedroom and
Oh, yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah.
I don't know why kitchen though.
This is how I look at it. If you are going to haunt my house and you're going to haunt my kitchen, you can cook and you can clean the damn thing. So I don't have to.
Susanna says kitchen and bedroom for her.
Oh. And that's the thing. It's a lot, and this could be why. This is just my theory on it. One of many theories I have when it comes to the paranormal and why people experience different things in different areas is when we are alive, where are the places that we spend the most? The kitchen and the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are no longer in this world and you become a spirit or a ghost, where are you going to hang out? The kitchen. And a lot of times, like I see a lot of videos, and I know a lot of them are not real videos. They're trying to make them look real, but they're not. But like things go flying off, drawers open and close, cabinet doors open and close, stuff flies off the stove. It's the kitchen is like one of the most powerful rooms in your home because that's where a lot of people, a lot of families, that's where they spend.
And there's a lot of electricity in the kitchen.
Exactly. And electricity, ghosts, spirits, they need a lot of electricity to even manifest a little bit. So the more that you have, the more that they're able to.
If you think about it, what do you do in the kitchen? You cook. You're using herbs, you're using spices, you're using different things.
Food is a love language.
Yes.
For the living and the passed on.
But it often wonders, like some of the spices that we may use, are you actually concocting some sort of spell or potion or without realizing it?
Right. Yeah. And
I have a tea that's supposed to, and it didn't work.
You what?
Oh, your mom's specialty.
My specialty. Nothing happened. I was bummed.
She tried it many times.
Yeah.
It won't work.
I'm like, nothing?
Now I'm just giving her caffeine at night.
This one's caffeinated?
Lightly.
Okay. Oh, so here's another thought that just came to me. The moment when you make a new friend, someone comes into your life and you're chatting, and with the topic that if it kind of works its way to ghosts, and then you're like, how much do I share with them? Are they gonna
it's that whole crap moment.
You definitely shared a lot with us, and we do appreciate it.
Yeah, because I had neighbors that when that happened, like I said something, and then I'm like, oh no, and then they told me all about that they had a child that would come and play with their girls when they were young, toys, and I'm
That's
like,
the scariest thing.
and my friend, her father had died, and he would always leave her quarters, and so it was such a relief. I'm like, okay, but then and
Fridge door always opens and closes.
But as it turned out, we were cousins, like Amy. Yeah. We had.
My mom's related to pretty much everybody who's ever lived in Utah ever.
But I'm from Pioneer, stock, and so when
If you have roots in Utah, you're related.
yeah, if you have polygamists that had helped found Utah, yes, many relatives. It's destiny, okay? Okay.
She started choking.
No, I must have swallowed wrong because I felt like I was gonna cough. I didn't want to be loud or rude, so I muted, and then it felt like I couldn't get it out.
Well, then it was over, and I'm like, is she collapsing?
I thought you were throwing up.
No, I had to grab the
Now we're gonna hurl.
Happens.
It's just tea, I swear.
What kind of tea do you have?
It's just the black tea with a little bit of sugar and lots of honey.
That's
So-
kind, yeah.
And I'm almost out. Jasmine,
I
are you
have-
watching? Mama needs some more tea.
I have a little bit left.
Sarah's bringing me more tea.
Oh, good. Her mother-in-law is going to come for Easter, and she and I get along really well, so I'm looking forward to visiting with her.
And she spoils me by bringing me different teas.
And she-
because our Walmart only offers like generic, basic, everyday black tea, green tea, herbal tea. But I want like oolong and rooibos and stuff that we don't get here in the middle of nowhere, Alabama.
You don't realize what living in the middle of nowhere is really like. It's wonderful.
We kind of live in the middle of nowhere. But I'm a country girl.
Because where we lived,
I'm a country girl. I grew up in the country, so I'm used to that, and
Suburbs.
So it had only been 1 million when I moved to Utah, the Wasatch Front, and then it was 2 million by the time we left. But when you live along a stretch of 2 million people, you can find it. Anything you need right there, and then you come to Alabama, and Dwayne's like, "Oh, it's a slower pace." Yeah, because no one freaking gets their job done.
Something my parents did say when they went to visit you, though, is that it was the best gas station chicken they've ever eaten.
Yeah. In Wisconsin, that was great gas station chicken. You know, my favorite thing though, was the pine trees, because
Pine trees.
Wisconsin has a ton of pine trees.
Different from the Utah pine trees.
Well, oh, they're beautiful there, because
Wow.
there's pine trees in Northern California, and that's where I spent my first half of my childhood. And then go to Utah, and they're just kind of, it's a desert. It's high desert. It's brown.
not all our pine trees are gorgeous.
We
have a few select.
there's pine trees all, and
I want to
and
go.
freaking tall trees there, and very green.
What is there to do in Wisconsin? I'll come visit you.
We'll come up when your parents come up.
Cheese doesn't love me, but I love him.
Oh yeah, Dwayne asked Tommy, is there another motel in town? Because that was great stories, but it doesn't mean we want to repeat them.
End of the Pines.
And
Tommy's looking into that. We actually know the owners, so
And
yeah. The we've never been to this place. Like, we never stayed at the place in town here. It was literally just right down the road from us.
Could walk.
Yeah. They rented a room when they came and visited, and
It was
there was
hilarious.
something about a shock in the bathroom.
Yeah.
The shower didn't have a shower head or something.
It was just when there's a pipe.
Yeah, it was not a very good place.
It had one outlet, and so you had to take turns. Like, you had to unplug the TV. To
Yeah,
in the microwave.
or the
had
lamp.
no idea.
There's a lamp. It had a queen size bed, but the mattress easily slid around, and you would have to move the mattress back in place to get into the bathroom. It was
Yeah,
It-
the
It was
place
fun.
was
Hotel
interesting
horror
for sure.
stories.
yeah. And
I wouldn't be surprised if that place was haunted. I mean,
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
you walk in the room like we were like, okay, it's right down the road. You'll be really close. All you got to do is sleep there, and you
Yeah.
hang out and do this. And I was like horrified when I walked in, and you literally had to go sideways like this, and then you could walk in front of the bed. But then to get to the bathroom door, you had to go like this to next to the bed so you can open up the bathroom door.
To open outward.
Tried to open it beforehand, you got stuck behind the door. And the people are nice.
Mm-hmm.
They're just older, and they
Oh,
just
tell me about the toilet paper.
Could you see through it?
yeah.
It was one of those big, huge rolls that is locked.
Like the kind you find in like gas station bathrooms.
Yeah, it was gas station bathroom toilet
Maybe
paper.
that's where they got it.
Oh, and when you're sitting on the toilet, because the place is old, so you can look out the window as you're on the toilet.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, she's sleeping.
did you tell them about how huge she is?
So she's gonna be 10 months next week. She is 30 inches tall and 25 pounds.
This
bad.
This girl right here didn't hit 30 pounds until kindergarten.
Wow.
She was just teeny.
My baby is my little chunker, and her dad is the exact same way when he was a baby.
And he's tall.
She's 99th percentile for height
Oh,
and
that means she's that. Did they estimate how tall she'll be?
they have not yet, but her dad is 6'3".
Oh, so
Yeah.
she's gonna be tall.
I'm only
She's
5'5".
gonna be tall.
He's either
Something
6'3" or 6'4", one of those.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Jasmine was a preemie, and so she was really tiny when she was born. And she was about a month early, but she was still really tiny. And by the time she was 3 months, she had I'm like, what the heck here?
Penelope was 7 pounds and 4 ounces when she was born, and then 19 and a half
Perfect.
inches long.
Yeah, she was
Wow.
perfect.
She
That's
still is perfect.
And you want to talk about the most boring delivery story?
She says boring, I say untraumatized.
Yeah,
It was very easy, painless.
because she got
A couple pushes, there was a baby.
Yeah. Because when you're at the hospital saying something's wrong, I don't know what, and they're like, your water's bulging, we can feel a foot. You're dilated to a 6. We need to get you in for a C-section. My doctor was out of town, so I asked, and I knew who the resident doctor was because he delivered most of Bountiful. But I'm like, so do you feel confident in this? And he said no, but we do the
They're
best.
supposed to lie to you.
I know, but they do the best they could. And then they said, can you walk into the operating room? And I looked at them. They're like, we're serious. And I'm like, okay. And,
I did not have any of that.
yeah.
We were cracking jokes on the way to the hospital because I didn't think that we would be staying. And then we stayed overnight, and that afternoon she was born.
Yeah, it was a perfect delivery.
Um, my son was 72 hours in labor, 2.5 hours pushing, and ended up having to have a C-section because his head was too big.
I only pushed for 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I was prepared. Okay, this is going to be like an hour. And no.
I was complaining that my legs needed lotion because I was trying to focus on anything other than the fact that I was having a baby.
Yeah.
You can tell by the photo of my face when I first saw her that I was in shock. I was very terrified.
All right. Well, I think we're actually going to wind it down. We're at 2.5 hours.
Yes.
Stay in for behind in the back
Yes,
room.
stay in the back room.
Yep.
But Next week is a really good show. We're going to be, because we mentioned it earlier, we're going to be talking about Easter. So it's the origins of Easter.
Like
That you made it through the
another.
winter.
Are you talking about the other holiday that was stolen from the pagans?
Exactly, yes.
Very
But it also ties in very nicely to how close it is to April Fool's Day. And there's a very, very interesting correlation between
Really?
Easter and April Fool's Day.
That's cool.
I've never heard
We're
that.
going to talk about that for a little bit, and it ties in nicely because the week after, we're going to be talking about the eclipse.
You know, I have friends that are going from Utah to there, and Dwayne and I were talking about the Farrells,
Yeah.
about going there to meet up with them.
Where's there?
Yes, the next couple of weeks.
Where's the ideal spot to see it? Is it like in Kentucky?
It's the whole there's a whole strip across the United States.
Oh, you haven't heard?
So-
Yeah, but I was thinking from my proximity.
I'm very
you haven't heard.
disconnected.
It's. I'm going to go with Kentucky. I don't know.
All right, so here is the rundown for our next few weeks of shows.
Yes.
March 28th, Easter. April 4th, eclipse. April 11th, mermaids and sirens, part 1.
Out.
That creeps you out?
Yes, mermaids creep me out.
April 18th, the Bermuda Triangle, mermaids/sirens, part 2. And I do have a personal story intertwined with this, but we'll see if I do it part 1 or part 2.
Cool.
April 25th, we will be talking about Disney.
Like haunted Disney.
Disney.
So,
Bunch of different stuff with Disney.
Awesome.
May 2nd, we are going to talk about fairy tales, Grimm versus Disney.
it's totally heard.
I've done a bit of research on fairy tales.
A lot of
I want to know why Little Red Riding Hood isn't in the Bible. I think she should be sainted.
Bow out of that one.
If you think about the moral of the story, she should totally be in the Bible.
I have to do some research on that because I have no idea.
And yeah, I totally researched her. Oh, and I've researched werewolves. You know that.
Yep. And that'll be one of the topics that we'll cover. But May 9th, we're talking about the moon landing. May 16th, we will be talking about urban myths.
You need to have Dwayne come on for the moon landing.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
that's
it's
his-
open door policy. So if
he
you want
never
to
landed on the moon, but he is part of the building of the rockets.
Right.
Never
Yeah,
landed on the
exactly.
moon.
So, get information about the rockets themselves.
That's a good idea. And then May 23rd, mythological creatures.
Awesome.
So those are our next few shows coming up. And then May 30th, we will come up with, and next week we will let you know what that is, because I will go through it again. So that way everybody knows which ones we have coming up and they can prepare. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
And
Much
thank
love.
you to our guests. It was a
Yes.
pleasure. We had Valerie, we had Natalie, we had Heather. Dwayne was on. Even Penelope was on.
You
And
have
Tommy made an appearance with his elephant.
Yes.
yes.
Thank you so much for being with us. If anybody has any questions, contact either myself or Shamrock Pixie. We'll be back next week, Thursday, with Easter and lots of love, lots of spookiness. We will see you soon.
Much love, everybody.
Take care, everyone.